This is The Critique. Today we're looking at a listener submission breaking down the legal fight between Candace Owens, Turning Point USA, and Erika Kirk.
It's a big one.
It's high stakes, high drama, and well, the script is a bit of a mess. Let's start right there with the structure.
Yeah, the structure. Reading it felt like trying to follow a legal brief while someone is shouting at you in a bar.
That's a perfect way to put it. I felt like I was getting whiplash.
Total whiplash.
1 second, we're deep in a cease and desist letter, dry legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next, I'm being sold sup. Then 10 seconds later, who is this random YouTube? I just got lost.
It's reactive. That's the word. The author is clearly just reacting to the news as it breaks, not synthesizing it.
You can feel the anger, which is, fine.
But you can't see the argument.
Right, but I wonder, isn't that chaotic energy part of the appeal for this kind of commentary? The listener feels like they're discovering things along with the host.
To a point, yes. But if your goal is to prove that Candace Owens is in actual legal trouble, which seems to be the thesis here, you have to build a case.
You can't just throw evidence at the wall and hope it sticks.
Exactly. Look at the Evan Kilgore quote.
The one that says, this energy comes across as bitter, resentful, angry.
Yeah, intentionally malicious. It's a devastating quote. Kilgore was a fan, an insider.
And it's just buried.
It's buried. It's stuck between a complaint about the fan base and some other tangent. It loses all its power because it's just there.
So where should it go? To maximize impact, do you lead with it?
No, I think you use it as the nail in the coffin.
Okay.
So earlier in the script, the host argues Candace is running a smear campaign. That's just the host's opinion.
Right. A listener could just think, well, you just don't like her.
Exactly. But if you drop that Evan Kilgore quote right there immediately after making the claim, suddenly it's not your opinion anymore.
It becomes verified fact from inside her own camp.
It validates the smear argument instantly. That's how you build a case in a script like this. You make a claim, and then you slam the evidence on the table.
Not 5 minutes later.
Right.
And speaking of waiting, I was really confused about the stakes for a long time. The script hints at this huge betrayal, the assassination theory.
But it takes forever to get to it.
We don't hear that Candace is implying Charlie Kirk was murdered until, the back half of the script.
Which is so strange, isn't it?
Because that's the whole reason for the lawsuit from Erika Kirk.
It's the catalyst for the entire conflict. If you don't know she's hinting at a murder cover-up, the Turning Point lawsuit just looks like, petty corporate bullying.
So by burying the lead, the host is actually weakening their own case against Candace.
Absolutely. You have to move that assassination theory right to the top.
Front and center.
Open with the stakes. Turning Point isn't suing over money. They're suing because Candace Owens is implying they killed their own founder. Boom.
Now the listener is locked in.
And now every cease and desist letter you mention has real weight.
It changes the context for the hostile takeover part, too. If we know she's accusing them of murder, the takeover attempt looks so much more sinister.
And more desperate. Suddenly the whole timeline makes sense. Without that context up front, it's just a list of things that happened. With it, it's a thriller.
It's interesting you say thriller because the tone is definitely dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that drama actually hurts the credibility. I kept getting pulled out of the analysis by the vocabulary.
You mean Candy Owens?
Candy Owens, Dingbat fan club, effing around and finding out. It all felt very Twitter.
It's playground stuff. And look, I get it. The host is passionate. They think these people are grifters.
Of course.
But when you're discussing complex legal ideas like defamation per se, and then you pivot to calling people dingbats, you shrink.
It makes the host sound less like an expert and more like, well, a hater.
It signals to the audience that this is a rant, not an analysis. If I'm a listener on the fence, maybe I like Candace or just want to understand the lawsuit.
The second you hear Candy Bloody Owens,
there's a bias. And you stop trusting the analysis of the legal docs.
But can't you argue that effing around and finding out is just how people talk now? It's modern vernacular?
In a casual chat, sure. But in a scripted piece about legal liability, it's imprecise. Effing around tells me nothing.
Okay.
But engaging in high-risk provocation with no exit strategy, that tells me everything.
That's a great rephrase. Same idea, but one sounds like a lawyer and the other sounds like a teenager.
And it carries more weight. Telling someone they're finding out is a taunt. Telling them they're facing inevitable legal repercussions is a judgment. We want judgment here.
What about the fans? The script spends a lot of time attacking Candace's audience, calling them a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to keep that critique without just insulting them?
Well,
The critique itself is valid. They are funding her legal defense. But Dingbat Fan Club is just lazy.
So how do you sharpen it?
You look at what they're actually doing. They are providing her with money despite her failures. They are insulating her from consequences.
Okay.
So describe them as an insulated audience willing to subsidize legal liabilities.
Subsidized liability shield. I like that.
It treats them as an economic piece of the puzzle, not just people we don't like.
It explains why she can keep doing this. She survives because the fans pay the bills.
That's an analytical insight. They are a cult is just name-calling. One adds value, the other just vents.
There's that section where the host does a mock voice, I am Candy Bloody Owens. I will always come back out on top.
It's theatrical.
It made me cringe a little.
It felt cheap. It is cheap.
Especially because the host actually diagnoses her later using the phrase narcissistic, proud, egotistical psychopathy. Which is a mouthful.
It is. But the core idea is there. The host believes she has a psychological inability to admit defeat. So instead of the funny voice, just explain that.
Frame it as a pattern of perceived invincibility.
Yes, that connects her behavior directly to the lawsuit. She gets sued because she thinks she's invincible.
It frames her arrogance as a strategic flaw, not just a personality quirk.
Exactly. A sophisticated critique instead of filler.
Okay, let's look at that track record part, because the script references a lot of history, but honestly, I got lost in all the names.
The extended universe problem.
Yes, we have Project Constitution, Dilent Denzian, Morgan Ariel, Muhammad Hijab. Even I was reaching for Google.
It's total inside baseball. The host is assuming every listener has been following every subplot of this drama for years.
The part about Muhammad Hijab going bankrupt thanks to Douglas Murray was so frustrating. It felt like a drive-by fact.
And it's such a missed opportunity. The parallel is right there waiting.
Explain that.
Muhammad Hijab is a creator who picked a legal fight with a much bigger, wealthier opponent, Douglas Murray, and got crushed. He went bankrupt.
That is exactly what the host is warning Candace about.
But the script doesn't make that connection. It just says thanks to Douglas Murray and moves on.
It relies on the listener to do all the work.
The host needs to spell it out. Say, look at Muhammad Hijab. He thought he could win the PR war, but he lost the legal war and his money. Candace is on that same path.
That turns a random name drop into a really powerful cautionary tale.
It makes the bankruptcy threat real. It gives it a precedent.
And what about the others? Dylan Denzian? Project Constitution?
Honestly, I'd cut them.
Just get rid of them completely?
Unless they are named in the lawsuit, they're a distraction. Does knowing about them help us understand the Erika Kirk situation? Not really.
It just dilutes the focus.
Right. If you have to spend a paragraph explaining who a side character is, they probably shouldn't be in a tight 15-minute script.
The kill your darlings rule. Just because you know the info doesn't mean the story needs it.
Especially with a story this complex already, we don't need D-list YouTubers clogging things up.
Speaking of clogging up the narrative, we have to talk about the commercial.
Oh boy, the commercial.
I physically flinched when I read the transition. You have this long, passionate monologue about how Candace Owens is greedy and rips people off.
How money is the root of all evil.
And then immediately, no breath, no pause, link is available in the show description. It's a brilliant product, simple economics.
It's a tonal car crash. You absolutely cannot preach against the sin of greed and then pass the collection plate in the same sentence.
It destroys the host's moral authority on the spot.
It makes the entire money is evil speech feel like a setup, like the only reason he criticized her grift was to make space for his own.
It just opens the door to charges of hypocrisy, and the product might be great.
It might be, but the placement is fatal.
So how do you fix it? Just cut the moralizing?
You have to separate church and state. If you're going to do a philosophical takedown of greed, you need a firewall between that and your ad read.
So move the money is not everything speech to the very end of the episode?
Absolutely. Do the ad read early, get the commerce out of the way, then settle in for the moral argument later. Or you could just acknowledge the tension.
How would you do that?
Frame the product differently. Instead of just pivoting to buy this, say something like, look, a show like this has to keep the lights on. The difference is we rely on transparent support, not by tricking people into a lawsuit.
That aligns the sales pitch with the values of the show.
It's still a little risky, but it's so much better than the whiplash we have now. But there's another thing with the ad read that bothered me.
What's that?
The line, when more people start buying it, the lower the price gets.
Right. Simple economics.
I stopped there. Is that actually true? Is that simple economics?
Usually when demand goes up, price goes up or, stays the same.
Exactly. So unless this is a co-op or some very specific model, promising that the more you buy, the cheaper it gets for everyone sounds fishy.
It sounds a bit like a pyramid scheme.
It sounds like the exact kind of grift the host is accusing Candace of. Just send me money and eventually it'll be great for everyone. I would cut that line immediately.
It invites skepticism right when you need the audience's trust the most.
And trust is the entire currency of this script. He's asking us to trust his legal interpretation over hers. He can't afford to burn that trust on a sloppy ad read.
So, zooming out, the feedback is really about focus. It feels like the script doesn't know what it wants to be.
Is it a legal breakdown? Is it a moral condemnation? A sales pitch? It's trying to be all three at once. And they're fighting each other.
And each part is being hindered by the other. The legal argument is hurt by the structure, the moral argument is hurt by the insults, and the sales pitch is hurt by the hypocrisy.
But the raw material is all there. The forest view, the idea that Candace is walking into a legal buzzsaw because of her own hubris, is a strong, compelling narrative. It just needs to be excavated from the rant.
So, let's make a game plan. Step 1 is the structure.
Step 1, group your themes. All the legal evidence in one bucket. Lawsuits, cease and desists, NDAs. Lay that foundation first.
And bring the assassination theory right to the front. Make it the hook.
Step 2, tone check. Go through with a red pen and circle every nickname, every slang insult, candy, dingbat, effing around.
And replace them with analytical terms. Liability, insulated audience, high-risk behavior.
It'll feel less emotional to write, but it will be so much more authoritative to listen to.
Step 3, the context cleanup.
Decide on your characters. If hijab stays, explain the parallel. Connect the dots. If Dylan Denzian doesn't add to the legal thesis, cut him. Assume your listener is smart but not obsessed.
And finally, the ad read.
Move it far away from the moralizing. Do not preach about the evils of money while asking for a credit card number. It's just bad form.
It really is about respecting the listener. They tuned in for the story, not a contradiction.
They want to know the so what. Is Candace going to lose everything? The script has the answer. It just needs to clear the clutter so we can see it.
I think this is going to be a killer piece once these tweaks are made. The passion is there, and the investigative work is solid. It just needs that editorial polish.
Absolutely. It's a diamond in the rough. I'd love to see the next draft, where the host lets the facts do the screaming for him.
We'd love to see where you take this. Revise the script, tighten it up, and submit the next draft. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for listening to The Critique.